There's a place in eastern Oregon where the earth rises suddenly without warning. A solitary mass of stone emerging from the desert floor like something left behind. Malheur Butte. It does not belong to a mountain range. It does not blend into the landscape. It stands alone. Above, its shape is unmistakable. Dark, steep, immovable. It stood there longer than memory, longer than language, longer than humanity itself, and it watches. Millions of years ago, this quiet desert was not quiet at all. The land trembled with pressure from deep beneath the earth's crust. Molten rock was forced upward, seeking release. The ground fractured, a volcano was born. It rose suddenly, erupting fire and ash into the ancient sky. Lava flowed outward and across the land, reshaping everything it touched. For a time, the volcano stood tall, a mountain of fire. But volcanoes do not live forever. Eventually, the eruption stopped. The molten pathways cooled and hardened, and time began the patient work of erasing what had been created. Wind stripped away the outer layers. Rain carved its slopes. Winters froze and split the rock grain by grain. Over millions of years, the mountain disappeared. Everything that was soft was carried away. Everything that was fragile was erased. Everything except the core. What remains today is the hardened throat of an ancient volcano, a place where fire once rose into the sky. Malheur Butte is not the mountain that was, it's the heart that survived. Its surface tells a story of its birth. Fractured stone, frozen currents of ancient heat, rock that was once liquid, now still. It's difficult to comprehend the scale of time that held within this form. The stone was shaped before human beings existed, before memory, before story, and yet it would become a part of our story. Long before the settlers arrived, long before highways crossed the desert, this land was home. For thousands of years, the northern Paiute and related peoples lived here, moving within the seasons, guided by knowledge passed through generations. To them, this was not empty land. It was alive. Every waterway, every alley, every rise of every stone existed within the living relationship. And solitary formations like Malheur Butte held special meaning, because they could not be ignored. They rose above everything else, visible for miles, unmoving, watching. Such places became natural points of orientation, not only for travel, but for awareness. From its heights, one could see great distances, weather approaching, animals moving, people arriving. It was a place of vision, a place of knowing. Across the Great Basin in Columbia Plateau, solitary volcanic formations were often understood as more than geology. They were understood as a presence. Some traditions spoke of stone formation as transformed beings, ancient persons whose forms had changed, but whose awareness remained. Others understood them as guardians, witnesses of the passing of generations. Places where the boundary between the physical and the spiritual world grew thin, not separate from the earth, but expressions of it. Even in silence, such places carried meaning. They reminded people of deep time, of endurance, of continuity beyond any single human life. Malheur Butte stands within that tradition of presence, a form that commands attention, a place that invites listening. Later, when colonial settlers and travelers crossed this land, they felt its presence as well. They gave it new stories. Some spoke of figures seen on its slopes when no one was there, dark shapes against the fading light. Others said that the butte felt like a place that watched those who passed. a place aware. Whether these stories were born from imagination, isolation, or something deeper, they reveal a universal human response. When confronted with something ancient, solitary, and enduring, we recognize it, not with logic, but with instinct. Because for most of human history, survival depended on understanding the land, not as an object, but as a relationship, a conservation between humans and the world. Malheur Butte has witnessed everything that has passed here: the movements of animals across the desert, the footsteps of indigenous peoples who knew this land as home, the arrival of settlers, uncertain and searching, the slow transformation of wilderness into roads and towns, and through it all, the Butte has remained, unmoved, unbroken, present. There is something deeply human about places like this. They remind us of scale, of how brief our lives are compared to the life of the earth. And yet, they also remind us of continuity, because while individuals' lives pass, the relationship between the people and the place endures. Malheur Butte is the exposed heart of a vanished mountain, a survivor of fire and erosion, a landmark for thousands of years, a witness to everything that has come and gone. It stands now as it has always stood, in silence, in patience, in presence, watching the light change, watching the world turn, remembering. And it will remain long after we are